In the sprawling urban landscapes of Victorian England, a darkness festered beneath the veneer of industrial progress. Amidst the teeming masses, one figure emerged, synonymous with unimaginable cruelty: Amelia Dyer. Her historical significance lies in the horrifying scale of her crimes and the societal vulnerabilities she exploited. Dyer perfected the grim trade of baby farming, transforming it into an enterprise of death that went largely unchecked. Her story is a stark reminder of how easily the vulnerable can be preyed upon when society turns a blind eye. The tale of Amelia Dyer compels us to understand the environment that shaped such a predator and the enduring legacy of her reign of terror. Amelia Dyer stands as one of history's most prolific female serial killers, her actions defying easy comprehension. For nearly 3 decades, Dyer preyed on the vulnerabilities of unmarried mothers, presenting herself as a caregiver while hiding a predator's ruthlessness. Estimates of her victims range into the hundreds, placing her in a league of her own. Her crimes were premeditated, methodical, and sustained by a chilling indifference to life. The environment of Victorian England, with its rigid moral codes and limited social safety nets, provided fertile ground for individuals like Dyer. Adoption was poorly regulated, creating a shadowy marketplace where life was cheap. Dyer exploited this landscape, turning societal failings into her gruesome enterprise. She moved frequently, changed her name, and adapted her methods to evade detection. Each new town masked the same grim reality. Infants entrusted to her care were destined for a swift and silent end. The term Ogress of Reading hints at the terror she inspired once her crimes came to light. Her case forced Victorian society to confront the uncomfortable truth that such evil could thrive within its midst. Amelia Dyer's name echoes through true crime history, a grim reminder of the depths of human cruelty. To comprehend Amelia Dyer's crimes, one must understand the desperate world of baby farming in Victorian England. This practice involved individuals taking in infants, usually illegitimate, for a fee, often leading to tragic outcomes. Dyer initially trained as a nurse, gaining medical knowledge she later exploited. She learned of baby farming from a midwife, transforming it into a lucrative, morally bankrupt enterprise. Desperate mothers paid a fee, hoping their child would be cared for. But Dyer had no intention of nurturing them. She advertised her services, promising a safe environment, preying on the hopes of mothers with no other options. Early in her career, she allowed infants to perish through neglect, but this method was slow and attracted attention. Dyer refined her technique, strangling the children with white dressmaking tape, allowing her to process more infants. The bodies were disposed of in rivers, particularly the Thames, a method that eventually led to her undoing. The practice of baby farming existed in a grey area of Victorian law, creating fertile ground for abuse. Society's eagerness to look away from illegitimate births inadvertently created a system where predators like Dyer could flourish. Dyer's ability to continue this trade for so long underscores the systemic failures of the era. Amelia Dyer's methods of disposing of her tiny victims eventually led to the unravelling of her dark secrets. In March 1896, a bargeman on the River Thames near Reading retrieved a small parcel containing the decomposing body of an infant girl. A faint name and address on the brown paper wrapping led to Amelia Dyer. This tiny clue was the first concrete link between the bodies in the river and Dyer. The discovery prompted a focused investigation by the Reading Borough Police. Detectives learned of her frequent moves, her advertisements, and the pattern of infants disappearing shortly after being placed in her care. They set up a decoy operation using a young woman to pose as a desperate mother, gathering first-hand evidence of Dyer's methods. The investigation revealed a monumental task, with Dyer operating for decades across multiple towns. The river continued to yield its grim secrets, adding to the mounting evidence against her. Public awareness grew as newspapers reported on the discoveries and the investigation. The methodical police work transformed suspicion into certainty, paving the way for Dyer's arrest. The river had spoken and the law was finally listening. The arrest of Amelia Dyer on April 3, 1896 was the result of years of suspicion. Her ability to evade capture for so long speaks to her cunning and the societal blind spots that allowed her to flourish. Dyer had brushes with the law, serving a 6-month sentence for neglect in 1879, but this did little to deter her. She refined her methods, moving from slow neglect to more direct forms of murder. The investigation that led to her arrest was a testament to persistent police work. Detectives placed Dyer's home under surveillance, noting the frequency of parcels and infants. A decoy operation provided crucial evidence of Dyer's process. A search of her premises revealed pawn tickets for children's clothing, correspondence from mothers, and quantities of white dressmaking tape. The scale of her operation began to dawn on investigators as they sifted through her belongings. The public's reaction to her arrest was one of shock and revulsion. The newspapers detailed the gruesome discoveries and the unfolding investigation. The unraveling of Dyer's decades of deceit exposed the horrifying reality of her life's work. The trial of Amelia Dyer in May 1896 at the Old Bailey became a pivotal moment, casting a harsh spotlight on child welfare and adoption laws. Dyer was charged with the murder of Doris Marmon, but the prosecution presented evidence linking her to numerous other infant deaths. Witnesses painted a damning picture of her systematic operation. Her defense argued insanity, but the prosecution countered that her actions were too methodical and financially motivated. The trial lasted only a few days, with the jury returning a guilty verdict after 4.5 minutes. The trial had profound repercussions, exposing the horrors of baby farming and the vulnerability of unmarried mothers and their infants. Public outcry led to calls for reform to prevent such atrocities. The Infant Life Protection Act of 1872 was strengthened, addressing the loopholes that allowed Dyer to operate. The trial played a role in shifting societal attitudes and encouraging the development of more compassionate systems for vulnerable women and children. The trial of Amelia Dyer was not just about condemning one woman, it became a landmark case that spurred significant legal and social reforms. It served as a grim mirror, reflecting the darker aspects of Victorian society. The tragic fates of Dyer's victims contributed to a safer future for others. On June 10, 1896, Amelia Dyer met her end at the gallows of Newgate Prison. Her execution concluded a chapter of unparalleled criminality, but did not erase the deep scars her actions left on the public consciousness. Following her conviction, Dyer reportedly showed little remorse. Her execution was met with a sense of grim satisfaction by a horrified public. Dyer became a potent symbol of the darkest aspects of the Victorian era. Her name became a byword for the horrors of baby farming. Her crimes resonated deeply because they preyed upon the fundamental relationship between a mother and child. The sheer number of her victims solidified her place as one of history's most prolific serial killers. In the decades that followed, Dyer's story has been retold in countless books, articles, and documentaries. Her case serves as a stark reminder of the potential for evil to masquerade as care. The reforms in child welfare and adoption laws spurred by her case are her most tangible legacy. Amelia Dyer remains a subject of fascination and revulsion. Her story, a cautionary tale of a time when infant life could be so easily extinguished. The execution of Amelia Dyer brought an end to her reign of terror, but her shadow lingers to this day. Her story is a profound reflection of a society's failings and a testament to the ease with which the vulnerable can be exploited. The scale of her crimes forces us to confront the reality of a predator who thrived in a rapidly changing world. Her legacy is a complex tapestry woven from horror, social commentary, and eventual reform. Amelia Dyer's historical legacy is not merely that of a monstrous killer, but as a dark catalyst for change. The Ogress of Reading remains a haunting figure, ensuring that the silent cries of her many victims continue to be heard.